Good morning. This is Mr. Greenberg. I am a social studies teacher at Upper Dublin High School. I teach 12th graders. For those of you who don't know me, um, for my part in the Genocide Symposium, I will be talking about the Cambodian Genocide. This is my main slide here. If you want to take a look over here, I have a good complete history, 1975 to 1979, from the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. They do a great job explaining the genocide. A little video here of an overview, a good timeline, primary source here, survivor stories, and here's my presentation, which we're going to look at now. So I'm going to jump off the screen. Okay, as this loads up here, there have been, many genocides in the 20th century. A little known one is the Cambodian Genocide of 1975. Began in 1975, right at the end of the Vietnam War, when the region was destabilized because of the war, the Vietnam War, and then it will end in 1979. Here we have Cambodia over here in the region known as Indochina or Southeast Asia. So let's begin. Okay, so the overview is almost 2 million people. Approximately 1/4 of the country's population died in what became known as the killing fields of Cambodia, and the focus is going to be on a group called the Khmer Rouge. First of all, the Khmer Rouge stands for the Red Khmers. Khmers is the ancient civilization of Cambodia. This group was formed in 1960 and was inspired by Chairman Mao Zedong of China. And the big push for the Khmer Rouge was to create this radical agrarian society, really just based everything on farming. They were only going to allow one party, their party. They rejected Western ideas. They didn't like cities. We're going to see that in a second. And they were definitely in favor of abolishing private property to the point where they weren't even going to allow money to be used, money in circulation, no banks, and I definitely couldn't own anything. So let's meet the leader of the Khmer Rouge, a man by the name of Pol Pot. Ironically, he actually grew up in a wealthy family, a wealthy farming family, but he will be influenced. He goes to school in France, and he's influenced by communism and starts to dream of this society in Cambodia that will be free of modern influence. Again, going back in time, Pol Pot is one of the original founders of the Khmer Rouge, and they in the mid 1970s, the Khmer Rouge gets control of Cambodia, and they will he will put his vision into place, or attempt to put his vision into place. This is a chilling summary of his goals. I'm not going to read that to you. You can take a shot, maybe pause the video if you want to read that long quote there. Okay. So interestingly enough, they when the Khmer Rouge takes over, they call it Year Zero, meaning that they're sending Cambodia back to the year zero, not 1975. So one of their big focuses is to get everyone out of like major cities. And Phnom Penh is the capital city with about 2 million people. That was going to be evacuated. And they used the lie that the Americans were going to be bombing the city in order to get everyone to leave it. And they were herded into the countryside. Many of these evacuees aren't going to be able to make the trip, and are going to be some are going to be killed along the way, and many are going to starve to death. So the beginning of their reign, reign of terror in April 17th, 1975, is day one. This is when soldiers with bullhorns went around the city and basically ordered everyone into the countryside. Houses and schools were emptied at gunpoint. If you didn't move, maybe a shot was fired over your head. Maybe you were shot. Not even hospitals were spared. All patients were forced into the street. And the picture here is a picture of this forced march where families you see are trying to take any possessions they can as they are going to be forced into the countryside to work. So who exactly were the targets of the Khmer Rouge? Basically anyone they didn't like. Some genocides focus on an ethnic group, maybe a religious group, based on race. The Khmer Rouge basically went after anyone who was involved in what they considered traditional society. They wanted that dismantled. They made men and women all wore the same shapeless black clothing, taking away any identity you had. Buddhist monks were labeled parasites. That's a picture there of a Buddhist temple that was ransacked. Anything worth of value was stolen, and then it was burned to the ground. The traditional family was also to be abolished. Children were often separated from their parents and forced to work in the fields, never to see them again. I don't have this listed here, but one of the things too about traditional society, if you wore eyeglasses, obviously used to improve your vision, that was seen as you trying to better yourself, and that was seen as modern. And you may have been killed for just wearing eyeglasses. But the big thing, what part of Pol Pot's vision was this 4-year plan to really focus on rice production, making enough rice for the people so that everyone would be happy. And this 4-year plan, it was going to focus on using forced labor. All labor was basically, you were forced to work for the state. But many of the people who were forced to work in these fields, again, they'll become known as killing fields. They didn't have the skill or the strength to work. They might have been, teachers. They might have been, working in a bank, working in commerce. And many of them fell victim to exhaustion or disease. And if you dared complain, you would basically be hit over the head with a rifle butt and killed right in the field. Thus, again, the term killing fields. This quote here to start off this slide, it's better to arrest 10 people by mistake than to let one guilty person go. This Khmer Rouge slogan goes with the term they called smashing. They believed there were enemies everywhere. People were working for the CIA, or they were spies for the Vietnamese government. So therefore, anyone that was deemed disloyal was weeded out and murdered. Again, or they use the term smashed. The Khmer Rouge is going to create around 200 prisons where people were sent to be tortured or executed or interrogated, or smashed, as they call it. The most infamous prison was called the S-21. This interrogation center, if I pronounce this properly, was housed in a former school called Toulouse Lang. And they believe between 14 and 17,000 prisoners were detained there, and only 12 prisoners believed to be survived. One of them was Bu Meng, a former inmate. He survived by producing these propaganda paintings for the prison authorities that you see here on the right. There's a whole series of these on one of the web pages I posted, and he was able to survive by I guess what he was doing was to, at least for the authorities, was glorifying what they were doing there. But actually, it's a good record of what happened in this notorious prison. So here's a horrific picture of one of the memorials to the Cambodian genocide. And if you look at these statistics, 2 million Cambodians either executed or starved to death, which again equated to about 1/4 or 25% of the population. Unbelievably, only 45 of the 450 doctors survived in Cambodia. They saw doctors or anyone educated as being better than trying to better themselves, being Western, so they were killed, and there was great need for doctors during this. Only 300 people with a college education survived. Again, that a college education was seen as modern, and that made you a target of the Khmer Rouge. Okay, thank you for this for listening to this brief overview. Obviously, for more information, you can check those slides and that video out. Thank you very much.